There's a part of you that wants to live an extraordinary life, a life of meaning, a life of purpose, a life filled with your talents being expressed and your love being expressed. This is foundational in our human being. Forget about what the modern world is pinging us with. This is what we want. And we're just being given a blueprint here for how to do it. Page 58, whether the object of a hostile thought be an individual or a body of people, we must pause there and treat ourselves until we have got rid of the sense of hostility, until we have restored the seamless garment of our spiritual integrity. I love that line. Restore the seamless garment of our spiritual integrity. But the key sentence, the phrase in this one is to treat ourselves. Treat myself right now. I could treat myself to feel better. I can implement a treatment, and that treatment is letting go of your cognitive thinking and connecting with the idea of the divine that you have. That's it. That's the energy. He says on page 59, it is much easier to overcome a difficulty if you tackle it immediately at its first appearance. So we just talked about, like, as soon as you are aware of it, you treat yourself. Literally, go through your days. How can I treat myself? All right, let me turn to God. Let me ask for help. Let me ask for assistance or guidance right now. Right? On page 66, beautiful point. He says, as long as you're running away from your problem, you will continue to meet it in a new guise at every turn in the road until your difficulty is treated. So until we actually do this, to learn to treat ourselves, which is asking for assistance, connecting with source energy all the time, we will continue to run into the same challenges and problems in a new guise. Anybody running into the same situations? Think about your relationships. Think about your financial situation, your career. The challenges that are unique to you are cyclical. You experience them again and again. You know this to be true. And what the message of Jesus is saying here is that if you keep turning away from it, turning your gaze away, then you're going to keep running into the same problems. That's what he's saying. And we know this to be true. Like, it's very hard to argue that point. Until we really deal with something, it's going to keep happening. So let's deal with it, is the message. On page 67, he says, just as in running from one business position to another or from one home to another, without first having brought about a change in consciousness, we find ourselves but repeating the old conditions in a slightly different form. So as a rule, you must fight out your problem where you are with prayer. I mean, there it is. That's why I keep reading the same sentence. He's saying the same things over and over again. You're going to keep meeting the same problems until you fight it out with prayer, until you fight it out with connecting to source, to God, to your version. On page 69, you must constantly seek direct inspirational contact with God, and it is absolutely essential that you have an open mind. What he's really saying here is that to really tap into divine inspiration, God inspiration, often requires that our paths become different than what we think they are. Divine inspiration takes us on a path that part of us doesn't want to go on, that we have fear around it or hesitation or limitation. But fully trusting this path is real and that it has so much more information than our little eye could is part of the practice. So that curiosity, that open-mindedness is to the point where you're willing to change yourself, to change the way that you operate or see things. That's a real open mind. So I'm just willing to go have this experience. This is easy. To look yourself in the mirror and change some of your default behaviors or patterns, that's the real work. That's the real work. And I think that anyone that's attracted to this message understands that we're really here to make a transformation. Transformation causes discomfort. We have to be okay at times with the tension, with the discomfort. Otherwise, we'll never change. And no one wants to live in comfort. You think that you do, but that's that little part of yourself that wants to play small and stay small. there's a part of you that wants to live an extraordinary life, a life of meaning, a life of purpose, a life filled with your talents being expressed and your love being expressed. This is foundational in our human being. Forget about what the modern world is pinging us with. This is what we want. And we're just being given a blueprint here for how to do it. And right here, what it's saying is have an open mind. Be willing to change. Be willing to take your preconceived notions about how reality exists and throw them out the window if you're getting that energy coming through. Be prepared to do X, Y, Z in your life, which you don't think you're going to do. But if you're really following the divine wisdom, connecting and trusting, it's going to send you on a path that you might not be fully comfortable with right now. That's open-mindedness. Now, I love on page 67, for those of you that are very religious, this might be challenging, right? Because this is where he really starts to talk against the theology and the structure of religion. He says, quote, "You must always be perfectly free at any moment to conduct the affairs of your soul as the action of divine wisdom may lead you. And later, on the whole, the most important application of this injunction is against making hard and fast rules." So he has a whole section where his interpretation is you must always be free in the moment to follow divine inspiration. And I know that for me, in my own practice, in my own awakening, there's been many times, many years where I was very stringent and rigid with my meditation practice, for example, or I was very rigid and I had a very particular way that I needed to hold myself and discipline myself with rigidity, because that storyline is one, that's how you get there, right? And you can see there's value in that in some sense. But the teaching of Jesus, the original pure unfettered teaching of Jesus, is saying something different, isn't it? Saying, actually, no, you must get to the point in your awareness where you're always able to be in connection and in flow. And that may mean not having rigid structure, not having every day 7:30, I do this meditation. Okay. And this is how I'm going to live a great life. What he's really implying here, and he says it pretty clearly, is that all that was built later. All that structure was built later. And what we're here to do, again, is to hone in on what was the message of Jesus Christ. And that was to be free in every moment, that our nature is to experience that bliss, that euphoria, that awe of being alive in the moment. And that's what we're here to do. And I love this on page 72. Another great point says, when you find yourself in difficulties, you should pray for harmony and freedom and expect to get it, but you should not seek to select the exact arrangement that will come about. This is so powerful, because how many of us really get attached to a certain outcome and you aren't happy when it doesn't happen? And so what he's saying here is so wise, because you should pray, you should connect with the feelings of harmony, the feelings and experiences of freedom, those qualities, but not be attached to these specific outcomes. And this is so wise, because what do we really want? We want the feelings of success and freedom, of love and connection. The actual outcomes, how that happens, isn't really what we want. We want the feelings that we get associated with. And so what Jesus is saying is connect with the feeling, pray for that, and be surprised. Let the outcomes happen as they do. Let the life unfold. Let spirit go within you and unfold and unfurl your purpose in your life, and have no attachment to the specific things that your cognitive brain thinks that you need. Pray to the feeling, pray to the emotion, pray for harmony, pray for that feeling. And when you capture that feeling, pray for it more, feel it, allow it to become your default. It's a practice, capturing these feelings, capturing the feeling of freedom. You know what it's like to walk around in your day and all of a sudden you're outside, a bird is chirping, you look up, it's this beautiful day, you feel the sun on your skin, and you just feel this like awe of being alive. Oh, like that very blissful moment. And oftentimes that doesn't last very long. And what I'm suggesting is capture it, use that as a practice. I think a lot of times we're always working on, let's just get rid of all of our negative stuff. Let me get rid of all my negative thinking. We don't really focus on focusing and concentrating and expanding those amazing moments that we all have.